Here's a D&D quest encounter to build your world. The setting will be in a city, as the party will be able to hear of some guards who have gone missing over the past few nights. Some of the missing guards' families will have pulled together to place a reward to find any information about the missing loved ones. DMs, this would be a great time to practice bringing empathy or sympathy to the table to test their players' ability in role-playing. Really bring out the distressed nature of the wives who now have no steady income, and the children who are asking the party to please find their mommy or daddy. The players will continue picking up information about the missing guards, and the patrols that they may have taken along the way. DMs, this is a great way to engage your party. It will hopefully have them collaborating on where they need to start solving this mystery. If your party is comfortable and intuitive enough to decide on their own if they need to visit the barracks or the locals who last saw the guards on patrol, then it's important to set up those NPCs to engage in conversation, which will be able to assist them on their party's quest. I would make sure to set aside a commander of the watch, who would be able to give the party the routes of the missing guards. Have the commander seem appreciative, but possibly a little reluctant to be handing out the routes for these guard patrols. They might even explain how, in the wrong hands, this could be used for nefarious activities. The party can either persuade or possibly bribe the commander for the patrol routes. The locals should be able to assist the party as well. Some might have even been able to hear screaming or crying towards the location the party should investigate. It's important to keep these interactions somewhat brief, but enough time to allow your party to role play as their characters. So let's dive into the location. Your party will discover that the guards' route every night detours into the sewers. Your party will thus conclude that no person has witnessed them exiting the sewers, but possibly some of the locals would have seen them going into it. Possibly an NPC who could always provide oil lamps or fresh baked goods is just sitting outside of the sewers to thank the guards for their duty, or maybe make a small profit when they enter the sewers. As the party descends down into the sewers. DM, this is your time to describe your dungeon setting. Mention the foul smell of gas that is a mix between sulfur and excrement, piercing the party's nostrils. Describe the sound of the slow, burbling sewage flowing through an open trench in the middle of the subterranean tunnels, along with the slow, echoing drips of water that plop onto the cold sewer and the mossy stone ground around it. The light should also begin to fade and is now dim, and those who have no dark vision will struggle to see beyond 10 feet in front of themselves. Once the party is now inside of your sewers, it's important to allow them to look around and figure out what possibly could have happened to these guards. Describe to your party that there's a small bridge that crosses the trench that's in between the sewers to the other side, where the party could also investigate. The party can clearly see that there's some type of sleeping arrangement along with a campfire, a chest, some rope, and maybe some weaponry here for the guards or maybe someone else. If the party decides to take the swords, they find a short sword, a long sword, a short bow, and possibly a crossbow. Depending on what your party needs, go ahead and supplement them to weapons that they might best suit to. The rope is just a 50-foot hemp rope, and it could be useful in this dungeon. But importantly, in this chest should be some very valuable items. You could give them some healing potions, a potion of strength, or something similar. But there absolutely should be a scroll of comprehend language within the confines of this chest. Initially, players will also hear the moans or cries coming from underneath some rubble that may have fallen from above the sewer. Players who go close to investigate will need to pass a DC 15 perception check or insight check to understand that, yes, these are the guards who were lost on their patrol. Although there is a small twist to what happened to these guards. The moment a player is within 5 feet of the rubble, a total of 4 zombies will emerge from the rubble piles in the sewer. It's time to roll initiative. Zombies have an AC of 8, 22 hit points, and a speed of 20. They're a challenging 1/4, and they only have one attack, which is called the Slam. You'll notice that they have a reach of 5 feet with a +3 to hit, doing about 4 bludgeoning damage each hit. But their bread and butter is the undead fortitude. If they're reduced to 0 hit point, They make a Constitution saving throw. The DC is 5 plus the damage that they took. Some easy math, let's just say that they did 5 damage to kill the zombie. The DC to kill the zombie would be a 10. The zombie would roll a +3 on their Constitution saving throw, and on a 10 or higher, they are still alive with 1 hit point. This is, of course, unless they take damage that's radiant or a critical hit. Then your baby zombie's gonna die. Sorry. After your party's done dealing with these 4 zombies, it's important to describe how each zombie is dressed in the attire of the city guard. It's at this point that your players may conclude that someone's turning the guards into undead. It's at this time you should describe the sound of a moaning echo or chanting that seems to echo through the sewers down below. Your players should continue making perception checks in your sewer. And with a DC 14, they'll see along the wall a rune. As the players look at the rune, make it apparent that none of these players know the language that is spoken on the rune. Remind them if it takes them a while to think about that scroll of comprehend language they found earlier. The players then who use comprehend language will be able to read what is on the rune. I highly recommend using a cipher. Cipher, that way they have a puzzle to solve during this game. I got this cipher from this book, and it really helped test my players in their riddle/cipher solving skills. As the party solves the cipher, a riddle that you've created, describe the wall slipping into the ground before them, revealing another room ahead. As the party perceives the next room, describe to them 4 red-cloaked men who are chanting some type of ritual. A pentagram or some magical circle seems to be set in the center of this room. A pile of bones set up top an altar. A guard looking to be dead or unconscious is set in between all of this ceremony. Standing atop the platform high amongst the rest is a woman with an imp chanting the ritual loudest of all. She seems to smile and notices the party. The lead cultist will then congratulate the party for infiltrating her innermost sanctum. Your party can then decide to engage in a roleplay conversation with these cultists if they like. You can decide to flavor this encounter however you wish, but ultimately these cultists will inevitably attack the party unless they decide to join them in their cause. Cultists have an AC of 12 and 9 hit points, along with 30 speed. They're only a challenge rating 1/8. And they only do a scimitar attack with a +3, a 5-foot reach, and about 4 damage for slashing each time. They do have advantage on saving throws against being charmed or frightened, which is pretty cool. But our Red Cloak boys are probably gonna get destroyed by your party pretty quickly. There will be 2 zombies also here to assist in this fight, so remember to keep your zombie stat block prepared just like you did before. Bringing up the rear are going to be 2 skeletons flanking that lead cultist. Skeletons have an AC of 13 and 13 hit points along with 30 speed. They can't be exhausted or poisoned, and they also are a challenge rating quarter, so they're a little bit better. Finally, some variety. They can make sword attacks and short bow attacks, doing about a +4 on each attack, and they do about 5 damage each time they hit. Finally, the cultist in the back is going to be the major heavy hitter. A cult fanatic has about 13 AC, 33 hit points, and 30 speed. They are a spellcaster, which is great because they have hold person, spiritual weapon, and command, inflict wounds, and shield of faith, which are going to be really useful in a fight. If they do have to get in melee, they get 2 attacks with their dagger, which is just about the same thing as the regular cultist. Your party can decide to save the guard in the center, but in about 3 rounds, he'll turn into a flesh golem. Flesh golems have pretty good stats and are CR5, and if your party is pretty low level, they can get beat down by this dude quickly. If you want to instead, just make it another zombie if you think that it's going to be too challenging for your party. Meanwhile, the cult fanatic's going to try to escape through a door. Hopefully your players won the fight. As they chase the cult fanatic through the door, they're going to see a storage room with a lot of lootables. If you guys are wanting a follow-up or a part 2 to this series, let me know in the comments, and I'd love to do that. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.